Hi, everybody. It is sort of the summary. It's the 25th recording on the Advent crystals. But this is where my friend Chirlyn, who lives in Denver and has
Hello.
stones longer than I have, and she'll get into that whole story about her family and stones. We're going to go through the crystals very quickly and summarize what each day was kind of about and sort of who spoke. And we're going to talk about what was most impressive to me in this entire project was the synchronicities from day one, where the person I was interviewing happened to be wearing a howlite ring, which is the stone we were looking at. And how delighted people were to find out they were getting a crystal, they were getting a fossil that was 200 million years old, and all that kind of stuff, and all the fun that there is in crystals. And I cannot tell you that none of this was arranged. I did not know what people had on their desks. When they're on their desks, you can't see, from my perspective, what's there. People who had chevron amethyst, and they had a 3-pound crystal sitting right in front of them. It was the same one as we'll get into all that, get into kind of the broad range of, what we're looking at is crystals, which are set up in a particular molecular form, and they're kind of fixed. And then we have stones, which are mixtures of minerals and crystals and things all kind of scrunched up together. And then there's fossils, which are ancestor stones. They were alive, and now they're here to remind us, no matter what happens, we're all going to be here for a long, long time. Our energy stays. And we got all the way to the last crystal, which amazed everyone, which I will show you in the camera. This is chert, and this is the second most common form on the earth. Silica that's in quartz is first. This is as hard as quartz, and in the ancient cultures, they used them to make blades and tools and things. You're going to hear more about chert, but we went from soup to cherts. What can I say? I mean, we got them all covered in here. So, Chirlyn, first of all, could you
Yes.
kind of give them a quick overview of your experience with crystals? Because hers is a lot more years than I've had.
I think it's been about 20 years that maybe even a little more that my parents became interested. Backstory is that my dad was a very straight, very narrow, and Nancy knew him,
Mm-hmm.
um, Baptist minister. Like you didn't color outside those lines. But about 20 years before he passed away, he became very interested in crystals. My mother had been interested in a long time, and they began to go to Arkansas to, I think it's called the Mount Edna mine. I
Yes.
think it's Mount Edna,
Mm-hmm.
and mine for their own crystals. I have, and my sister Brenda has pounds of crystals that we acquired after they both passed away. My mother kept a crystal in her bed until the point that it was gone one day in the hospital. It just disappeared. And I guess it's possible somebody took it, but she also had decided that she was at her exit point. And we never found it, ever. We went through the laundry room at the hospital, we went through her bedding, her clothing, everything, and we never found it. My sister and her husband, who has since passed away, became interested at crystals and in crystals as well, and they started traveling to Mount Edna by themselves and with my mom and dad, and they would go and mine. Now, my brother-in-law was a crystal guardian. He could align crystals, and he worked with them. And I'm going to show you something he made. I don't know if you can see it very well. This is a crystal wand, and he found a tree that was it was a sassafras tree in East Texas, and it had been wrapped with honeysuckle vines. So the wood on this has indentations in it. It's the coolest piece of wood, and it has just a quartz crystal. It's very cool. It has some little small, what are these called? My mind went blank. Um, these little crystal wands, these
Mhm.
tiny little ones.
Yes.
This big one, and then it
Mhm.
has these little bitty ones right here. And so I've had this since probably just before he passed away, but he worked with crystals, and they actually traveled for a period of time to festivals and flea markets and sold crystals. My parents were very interested in them, and my dad began to tumble rocks. I mean, they went to Deming, New Mexico to go rock hunting. I mean, they were totally in on stones and rocks, and not just the stones and rocks as, oh, these are pretty, but as what they're good for, what kind of healing, what kind of,
Power usage.
and they both were very knowledgeable. Power usage, they were both really educated on that, and would give us crystals at times of our lives. I mean, the girls were competitive baton twirlers back in the day, and they all had crystals that they carried in their baton bags to help balance their energy and their nerves. And they carried them. They never left home without them. So, kind of our whole family, well, half of our family was very involved in crystals and other kinds of stones as for power use.
Mhm. Well,
So,
I couldn't have asked a better person who has a better background and has worked with using them. Because really, the Advent was as much a chance for people just to get to know stones and to to know other people. So,
yeah.
so you can chime in, sweetie, anytime you want.
Okay.
Day one, oh, I'm going to tell you, if if you want, if you go down in the description of this, there's going to be a way you can order for free from me a PDF. It'll get sent to you over the computer. You're going to have to print it off yourself. But a PDF of the whole Advent calendar thing, the daily prayer. The daily prayer I did every day to Mother Earth about allowing us to have these. I always kind of pictured these stones as the breadcrumbs that Mother Earth leaves for us to learn from. And that prayer came from a book called Braiding Sweetgrass, which was written by Robin Wall Kimmerer. And if you order the PDF, you'll get her information. And her book weaves the memory of when Sky Woman came down and taught humans how to relate to the, the world. And that's what I tried to do with these crystals. And I think we're in such a time of change, and when everybody thinks, oh, it's all so different than it used to be. Yes, it's different, but there are these things, these stones that in change, that give us glimmers into where we ought to go. And so the first day was Dorothy Morgan. She's an astrologer, and she was with me, and we had dolomite. And dolomite, actually, in the crystal collection, they said it was white turquoise. Dorothy said there is no such thing as white turquoise. There's dolomite. If they
Yeah.
call it white turquoise, they're just trying to put zeros on the end of a product. And she said, how odd, because dolomite is also howlite, which some of you may have seen. I've used it when I build grids.
Yeah.
Dorothy had a big howlite ring on, and I thought, well, that's good. We're getting someone in with the that's already into the vibe of the crystals we're looking at. So day two was Linda G. And she came on and she got the Orthoceras fossil. It's from 500 to 200 million years old. Linda was absolutely fascinated with that. It's what it does, what fossils do for us as a form of uh, life, life form and rock that we can look at, a sort of rock, because it it connects us deep into the Earth's history, offering us wisdom and grounding energy. And that's what you get from the Orthoceras. The third, do you have anything to say, sweetie?
I was actually looking for something on dolomite because I think there is a mountain. Actually, it's called the Brazos Cliffs in New
Mm-hmm.
Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
That is, I think it's mostly dolomite. I was just going to add that
No, it
in.
is.
Sorry, go ahead.
There is something there. Um, then I got chevron amethyst, and this is what this is. And what this is amethyst that has striking zigzag patterns or white, all kinds of white crystals shoot through it. It's a personal energy cleanser. And guess what? Scott Allen, who pulled this crystal the day he sat and did this with me, he had a 3-pound chevron amethyst globe on his desk. It's a huge thing. It's a great, it's like, looks like a giant baseball. And I had no idea. I mean, I read with him every Sunday. I had no idea I had that stone. So he got it. So if you're starting to sense there's a synchronicities going on here, there are.
Yep.
Day 4 was Milky Quartz. And the reader who pulled Milky Quartz, by the way, they didn't know until they got to the studio, unless they really asked what stone they were going to get. Terry from Holding Your Space got white quartz. The first thing every article you will ever read about white quartz says gentle and nurturing. And I can't think of a better description of Terry than gentle and nurturing. And its whole job is to boost your own immunity and to connect you to your higher consciousness. So that's that stone. And then the day 5, I got Jeffrey from Ripe Color showed up and he got Amazonite. And Amazonite, a lot of times it's much bluer than this. This is actually much bluer in real life. My cameras are crappy, so go for that. Live with it. You want to pitch in some money and you get better pictures. And it's a shield against electromagnetic stress. It's become very, very popular in the modern world. It brings luck, calmness, and the courage to speak your own truth. It's blue, just like the throat chakra. And then the next day, day 6, was Dr. Gale, and she got mystical labradorite, which it's a mystery if I ever say that name right, but it's a protector, and for protection and self-awareness, it connects the third eye chakra. You're having problems with your third eye, put this on, do some meditations. It's going to be open. You might even have a headache. What can I say? And it helps you through all the twists and turns of life. And if you know Dr. Gale's story of how she came into the world of metaphysics and higher understanding, now there's a tale. It's a little bit twisted at times.
That's true. That's true.
And then red jasper, which I love. But red jasper is not a stone to bring into your life. It's probably not the first stone you should buy. It has so much energy. And Sheila from Celtic Tarot got it. And the thing you always hear about this is need grounding, need inspiration. Red jasper's got you covered. It's an energizer and a protector. And one of the first things I learned about red jasper is if I had a friend that was in relationship problems, I'm too old to have friends that do that anymore. But when I was younger, and Chirlyn's been with me for 48 years, so
Yep.
he knows. We had a few run-ins with relationship problems,
We did. Absolutely.
and the fiery red of this energy stone will protect you. That's why I have that giant black, looks like a black glow behind me. That's a red jasper. Now that is,
I have, oh, I was going to say, I have, yeah, I resell jewelry and I have a necklace that has a piece of big and it's faceted. It's absolutely beautiful. But I have this weird necklace that I can't get anybody to tell me what they think it is because everything on it is carved, but it has two huge red jasper beads. They're like
mhm,
this, maybe 2 inches, and then maybe an inch and a half around, like in a barrel, like a barrel bead.
mhm.
And It's absolutely stunning, and the jasper in that is, like, catches you when you're looking at it, like
Right.
yeah, it's
And the
phenomenal.
other thing about red jasper is it is a protection stone, but it doesn't mean you get to throw it at the person you want protection from. That's not how it works. And then I got blue apatite, and I love blue apatite. And a lot of times when you see blue apatite, it's tumbled because it's such a pretty stone. And when it's tumbled, it becomes a darker blue. Yeah, sometimes that happens when you tumble them. And Allie from Heart and Soul Connected read this one, and its its actions are multidisciplinary. And I don't know if you know much about Allie's channel, but she brings in everybody from everywhere and says, "How do we connect? Who has the information I need to connect?" And this is a gorgeous stone for that. And it talks about motivation, communication, and manifestation. Day 9. You knew it was coming, guys. Black Obsidian. And Amy P got this, and it's an emotionally detoxing stone. And it grounds you. It soaks up negativity and encourages you to grow. And Amy, who is venturing to become a healer in a metaphysical field where she uses wands to aim energy and to help your body, kind of what you're talking about, what your brother-in-law used to build wands for. She uses something called a Vogel wand. But she said, I hadn't thought about this in years, 30 years ago when she began her journey towards where she wanted to go. She had a mentor, and the mentor was moving away. So she sent her an envelope with some notes and letters about how to get along. And she sent chips of black obsidian, and she said, "This will help protect you." And Amy said that's the first time she was conscious someone had given her a crystal to protect her. There's another synchronicity. And she hadn't thought about that for years until we were halfway through the thing. Okay, and day 10. We have Kim Copeland, and she got what's called a yolk stone. And if you can look at it, you see it looks like a yolk. It looks like an egg is open up and there's a little yolk in the middle. Yolk stones are part of a bunch of different stones that are called mookaite, Mookaite. And they're for self discovery and easing transitions. And they come the from Australia, from what's called the Kennedy Ridge, I believe. And it's near where all the opals come from. And it's a very different, the energy of a mookaite stone is very different. It is for self discovery. It's a nurturing stone. If you want to start out working with stones, if you can find some mookites or find some agates like this, they're very helpful for that. So that was day 10. Then day 11, Danny Shea wanders in, and what does he get? But black moonstone. And I'd never heard of black moonstone before, and I had to go look it up. Ah, and it's jumping out of my hand. I'm sorry, I hadn't heard about you before. Um, and Danny works with shamanic things, and this was a stone that works with a lot of shamanic things. It's aligned beautifully. It aligns beautifully with the mysterious energy he works with. And if you've seen moonstone, they're usually clear and almost translucent, and they look a little like they're more translucent than milky quartz. And they this one has the deeper side of that reflection of ourselves. And then we go to another jasper, which is what mookites are. And this one, I just loved her getting it. It was Engla from Finland. And this is a stone of balance. It's a calming stone. It's for harmonizing emotions, encouraging growth. And Engla had said, "Oh yeah, we have a lot of that kind of stone up here." And also labradorite is up in Finland too. That's another place where you can find them. And then the next stone, day 13, I thought, God, I don't know who's going to get this stone. This stone looks, for all intents and purposes, like I chipped some concrete off the block, off the curb, but that's not what it's come from. It's born from fiery lava. The basalt symbolizes strength and resilience. And I was kind of like, God, whoever's going to get this. I had a friend one time who looked at a grid I built and she goes, some of those stones look like you could have pulled them out of my alley. Well, let me tell you, you can have stones that come out of your alley. They can be everybody's powerful as anything. She loved getting this stone because she works with massage, Reiki therapy, and a lot of body stuff. And this is the stone that's most often tumbled to make the heated stones they put on your body during massage. She knew all about it.
Do you remember, of course you remember, when we went to New York back in the early '80s,
Yes.
and we went to the Metropolitan Museum of
Mhm.
Art, and there was that Etruscan casket in the hallway?
Right.
I think that was basalt,
Yes. It's an
and
incredibly
it was 10,000 years old or something. It was a
well,
crazy,
hmm
crazy age, and it was perfect condition.
yeah, it's hard to wear out stones. It really truly
Yeah,
is. Okay. And this is the next one is coral fossil. And it's hard to see it, but there's the fossils there, and then other kinds of agates and things have filled in the holes. And the person who got this is Diana Bowles, and she lives on Lake Michigan. And on the shore of Lake Michigan, they have a thing called a Petoskey stone. And Petoskey stones are coral that's been
yeah,
tumbled, and they're beautiful stones. Go look at them.
yeah,
It's really hard to tell looking at this stone. If I can get close enough, you can maybe, can you see just the beginning of the little starburst and this right by my finger? That's the stones filling in where the coral was. And in Lake Michigan, people go up there on tours to go find that kind of stone.
yeah.
And she just happened to get that stone. She knew all about it. She talks all about connecting with Petoskey stones. The next stone I have is lapis lazuli. And this is an and lapis lazuli is not a crystal. It's a stone. It's um it's a royal stone of truth and wisdom. And it's because it speaks to its blue color. A lot of lapis in parts of the world has gold running through it. This one does not. But it's very strong. And Tim Walter from Knight's Rose was our person who helped us on the 15th. He's an energy, he's a house healer. He works with earth energies. And he said, yes, that he's used this kind of stone to bring harmony to
It's
energy.
I think that's probably my favorite stone,
Yeah, it is.
lapis. Yeah,
Yes. And it can be dark, dark blue. It can be,
yeah.
and yeah, and they did grind it up and make it into eyeshadow and stuff. Not responsible for what people did in the old days. Okay. Beatrice Beatrice, who was a acupuncturist at one time, and then she learned to use stones, and she had the most marvelous books on Chinese medicine and stones. And she got yellow quartz, which is bright and joyful. And so is Beatrice, may I say. That woman just lights up a room. And it's there, she said, to soothe the solar plexus. So if you kind of get above the navel but below the heart problems, this is the stone you want to go looking for. It has very empowering vibes. It's really good. And I have a better piece of, sometimes it's called citrine. It's a yellow quartz.
Yeah, yeah.
And it brings a lot of joy. It brings a lot of healing. It brings a lot of wealth or empowerment into your life. We got agate is the next one. And agate is like every stone you've ever seen in your life. I mean, but they're polished and they're pretty and they have different colors in them. And it transforms negativity into positive energy. It's a transformative stone because it's a blending of energies. It has grounding property. Its grounding properties resonated with Carly B, who Carly B lived in Peru in the valley where Pachamama is and where the old gods of the Peruvian in Peru live. And she talked about that and how important that was. And let's see. Then the next one is this is another agate, but agates have different feelings. This is a flower agate, and you can kind of see little flowers in it. And it was Debbie J. And it also inspires growth and transformation, but it helps you. The flower one, because of the lighter colors, helps you blossom into your best self. And it's perfect. And it for her, she's on a real journey of change, and it's perfectly aligned for her to blossom and grow and change. Now, this is the one that's most interesting. This is green fluorite. And fluorites, if you don't know them, they're clear. They can be any color under the sun, from really clear to almost looking like quartz up to dark, dark purple. And there are rainbow fluorites that have all the colors in them, and they're interesting. But the lady who got this, she said, "Oh my God, you didn't know about my fluorite, did you?" And it's Nancy C. It's called green fluorite. It's called the genius stone because it harmonizes the body and the mind, enhancing focus and clarity. But Nancy's synchronicity story was she had a friend and they were very, very close. And they lived in Arizona together and they rock hunted. And somewhere they both found a green fluorite and they each had half of it. And I've never been clear about how it happened, but somehow Nancy's half of the green fluorite ended up in her friend's coffin. Don't ask. And so she said, "You don't go digging around in someone's coffin in the middle of the funeral looking for your crystal." So she just decided she really wanted that stone. And then the daughter called Nancy and said, "We're going to cremate mom. Would you like some of the cremins to have to put somewhere?" And she said, "Yes, I would." So Nancy got the little box with a little baggie of the cremins. And she goes, "This is awfully heavy for ashes." When she opened up the bag, her crystal was in it. And she had it on her desk and showed us the crystal. But this fluorite's one of my favorite stones. And when you get a stone like fluorite that can be a lot of different colors, then you can use the color along with how you understand chakra colors, if you understand them to be. And then this is sort of the first stone I think a lot of people love and fall in love with and relate to, rose quartz. And it's a stone of love and compassion. And the particular Vicky who showed up to help me talk about this stone, it's one of the few stones she's actually bought. She is not a stone person. She's not even really in our community. She's someone I've read, and she's just an old friend. And she works with computers, as a matter of fact. And she has always loved them for their gentle, healing energy. And she's given them to friends when she knew they were in times of trouble. She has her own big rose quartz at home. And she said when her husband gets stressed, she goes and throws it on his desk and said, "Here, get some calm." And then Jennifer got another fossil. This is day 21. It's fossilized. This is a fossilized sea snail. And this one is not as old as the first one that we saw on day 2. This one's just about 100 to 50 million years old. And it's also known for its grounding in wisdom. And what she said she loved about it when she saw the close-up picture of it is it's in spirals. And she always finds when she draws and does things, and all of the jewelry she has all has spiral in them. So she said she really, really related. And she finds right now in the time of change, it's invaluable to be able to relate to spirals and change. And then, promise guys, we're down to the last 3. No, we're down, yes, last 3. This is green adventuring. And in the very first crystal grid I ever built, I used green adventuring. It's a stone of good luck. It's about optimism and perseverance, and it has a lot of uplifting energy if you're trying to work with in the world of spirit. And Deborah from Voice of the Akashic Records said this would be a wonderful crystal to have with you if you are working with spirit, because it uplifts your energy. And then Next to the last, Val from Dragonfly Crystals. She got smoky quartz, and I know some of you are going to say that doesn't look all that smoky. Smoky quartz can be from a very not particularly dark smoky quartz to this kind of smoky quartz. And it just depends on how much other mineral has worked its way into the quartz. But this, if you see it in real life, is a smoky quartz. Smoky quartz is grounding and stress relieving. It clears negativity while promoting balance. It's a powerful earth energy, and there's a lot of clear quartz and smoky quartz in Arkansas.
Yeah.
I don't know if your parents found any of the smoky stuff, but there's,
I don't know. They found everything.
yeah, and you've got boxes and boxes that we haven't even
Yep.
looked
Yep. Pounds and pounds.
at. And my last day is chert. I have to say that I just, it's CHERT. It's a calming and protective stone. Chert also enhances enhances humor and memory. Alex was talking about it. It's very hard. I know it looks like sandstone. It's not. It can be carved into weapons if you wanted to. But we wrapped up the whole show with that. And that's the 25, that's the 24 stones and the 25th show. And like I said, if you want to get a summary and sort of a place to start with looking at these stones on your own, I'm going to send out, I'll have a PDF. I'll have in the description below here, or you can write to me at crystaldirections.nancyjean@gmail and say, I want the 24 stones, and I'll get it to you. It's got all the information I just said to you and a few more things thrown in. And what you got to say, girl?
I've got to say that stones are one of the most interesting things, I think, in nature and in metaphysics and spiritual life because they come and go,
Mm-hmm.
especially quartz.
Mm-hmm.
It can stay with you, like the stone with my mother. She carried it everywhere for years, and it was about half the size of my fist. It was not a small crystal. I don't know how many points it had on it. I don't remember. I think it may have had about 3. Um, and then when she left, it left.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had stones leave me as well. I've put them in the window seal to get moon washed and come back, and there would, if I put 5, there might only be 4 left.
Yeah, they'll take, someone told me years ago, before I was working with crystals much, if you lose a stone, it needs to go somewhere else.
Yep.
It doesn't need to be with you anymore. And somebody commented to me on one of the shows we did how she didn't try, it was green adventuring. She'd given up trying to wear it because every time she wore this necklace that had a beautiful stone, the necklace would fall off. So she was paranoid. I have a jade bracelet that I inherited from my mother, and jade's a very powerful stone.
Yeah.
And um, I've, it's just fallen off my wrist. One time when I was in Chicago, it fell off my wrist. I went back down the hallway about 4 hours later, and there it was lying on the carpet right by the elevator. So I didn't
Yep.
try to wear it anymore. And it wasn't just a bad clasp. We checked it. It just whooped.
Yeah. Wasn't quite yours.
Not quite mine. And I've had a lot of people say we'd like to learn more about the stones rather. This all came about because my charming daughter bought me this, just saw it online and said, that sounds like something mom would like.
That's cool.
And when it came here, I did. And we emptied all the spaces.
That is awesome.
And so if you, I'm thinking about doing more with crystals next year. Not sure. Right now, I have been doing a show a day, taping something today is the 22nd of December. I have taped one or two shows or copied them over, done spend hours anyway since the 19th of November. So
Uh,
I'm going to take a bit of a break.
Christmas break.
Right, but if you write in, that's real easy. I just open up my emails and send the stuff off to you.
Yeah.
And I want to thank every person who helped me present these stones and you, Chirlyn, because it was their synchronicities and their, oh my God, this happened to me in my life with it, that made me understand they weren't just tripping into my life, they were tripping into other people's lives.
Yep.
Maybe something will trigger off for you and you can go have fun and games and go find some stones, find some crystals, find some fossils. Petrified wood is a fossil.
I
Amber.
I have some petrified wood my mother gave me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And those are all ancestor stones that remind us we've been here before and our energy never really leaves and we never really stop.
Yeah.
But I think now is the time for me to stop because I'm dead. I'm ready to fold this one up and thank you everyone who sat through the stones every day. This will be on Christmas morning and then it will be out there forever. That's our forever in the universe, putting it on YouTube. Anyway, everyone take care. Chirlyn, thank you so much for taking time out.
Always. I'm always here if you need me, and have a wonderful Christmas, my old friend. I love you dearly.
I love you too, and I love all the people who are spending this time with us. Thank you very much.